They said I was the troubler of Israel, but I knew the truth. The drought was not my curse, it was God's judgment. And on Mount Carmel, I stood alone, or so it seemed. 3 years. That's how long the heavens stayed shut. Not a drop of rain. The rivers bled into dust, the fields lay in ruins, and Israel's cries rose like smoke. But still, the king clung to his idols. Ahab searched the valleys for grass to keep his horses alive, while his queen, Jezebel, hunted the prophets of the Lord. Only Obadiah, the king's steward, dared to hide them. 100 men, kept alive by scraps of bread and drops of water. And me? I waited, silent, until the word of the Lord came, "Go, show yourself to Ahab, for I will send rain upon the earth." I knew what it meant. To show my face was to risk death. Ahab had searched every nation for me, swearing oaths that I was not within their borders. And when Obadiah met me on the road, he fell to the ground in terror. "Is it you, my Lord Elijah?" he said. "It is I," I answered. "Go, tell your master, Elijah is here." But Obadiah trembled. He thought the Spirit of the Lord would snatch me away, and Ahab would kill him for bringing false news. I looked into his fearful eyes and swore, "As the Lord lives, I will show myself to Ahab today." He went, and soon, so did the king. When Ahab saw me, his voice dripped with scorn. "Is it you, you troubler of Israel?" But I would not carry his blame. "I have not troubled Israel," I declared. "It is you and your father's house. You abandoned the commandments of the Lord and followed the Baals." And then I challenged him, "Gather all Israel. Bring the prophets of Baal, 450. Bring the prophets of Asherah, 400 more. Meet me at Mount Carmel. There, the true God will answer." Mount Carmel rose like a scar above the land. The people came, hungry, desperate, restless. 450 prophets of Baal lined the ridge, their robes crimson against the barren rock. I stood before the nation, my voice carried by the wind. "How long will you limp between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal, then follow him." But they said nothing, not a word, so I gave them the test. 2 bulls, 2 altars, no fire. You call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord, the God who answers by fire. He is God. And the people whispered, "It is well spoken." They chose their bull, cut it to pieces, laid it on the altar. From morning until noon, they cried, "O Baal, answer us." But the heavens were silent. They danced, they limped, they shouted. Still, no voice, no answer. At noon, I mocked them. "Cry louder. He is a god, is he not? Perhaps he is deep in thought, or relieving himself, or away on a journey, or asleep. Wake him." Their cries grew desperate. They slashed their own skin with swords and lances, blood running down their arms. The altar shook with frenzy, yet the sky was silent still. As the sun began to sink, the people watched in horror. Their prophets raved on, but no one paid attention. Then I called them near. I took 12 stones, 1 for each tribe of Israel, God's covenant people. I rebuilt the altar of the Lord, torn down by neglect and idolatry. I laid the wood, I cut the bull, and then I did the unthinkable. "Fill 4 jars with water," I commanded, "and pour it over the offering." They obeyed. Water soaked the wood. "Do it again," I said. They did, a 3rd time. By the time they finished, the trench overflowed. In a drought-stricken land, I poured out water to prove that when fire came, it was no trick. At the time of the evening sacrifice, I prayed, "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant. Answer me, O Lord, that this people may know you, and that you have turned their hearts back." And then it fell. Fire, a storm of flame from heaven. It consumed the bull, the wood, the very stones. It licked the dust. It drank the water dry. The people fell on their faces and cried, "The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God." The prophets of Baal, their power broken, their lies silenced. The people seized them, dragged them to the brook Kishon. Judgment fell that day, but for me, the story was not finished. Fire had fallen, but rain had yet to come. I climbed to the top of Carmel and fell to the ground. My face pressed to my knees, I prayed for the rain. To my servant I said, "Go, look toward the sea." He went, returned, "There is nothing." Again, 7 times. At the 7th, he gasped, "A small cloud rising from the sea, no bigger than a man's hand." It was enough. I rose and said, "Go, tell Ahab, prepare your chariot before the rain stops you." The wind howled, the heavens grew black, clouds rolled like mountains, and then it came. Rain, torrential, rushing, pouring down the parched earth. The land drank. The people shouted. The curse was lifted. And the hand of the Lord was upon me. Strength surged through my weary bones. I gathered my garment and ran before the king's horses, through the storm to the gates of Jezreel. The drought was broken. The people had seen. The Lord, He is God. My friend, maybe you feel outnumbered. Maybe your faith feels small, a whisper against the roar of the crowd. But the God who answers by fire, the God who sends rain, is still the same. Stand firm, build your altar, pray, and watch what He will do. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. What stood out most, the fire or the rain? Subscribe for more biblical stories brought to life